Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Excalibur Roundtable Tech Talk. I'm Mike Fuson. This is part of our extended Tech Talk series with our partner HaloITSM, and I'm joined by the infamous and certainly famous Tom Petley from Halo. Tom, it's always great to see you.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for the big intro.
So one of the things that, as Tom and I have been talking about different topics to share with you guys out there, one of the things we had talked about was maybe a couple of specific industries that Halo is used extensively in. And one of them is in the university sector. And that's something that's near and dear to my heart. I've worked with a lot of our university customers in implementing IT service management solutions over the past, we'll just say, couple of decades that I've been working with customers. And one of the things that's always interesting in a university environment that's a little bit different, in fact, a lot different from a lot of corporate organizations, is that they have multiple constituencies that are being served. So they're serving students, they're serving faculty, and they're serving staff. And what services and really elements within those services that each of those groups is eligible for is different. And you also then have the added layer of an individual could be more than one of those personas, more than one of those types of customers, because you can have a student who's also a staff member because they have a job on campus. And in many cases, we've seen where they're all three. You know, like a graduate student. Graduate student may have a job on campus, but they're also a adjunct faculty member as well. So they have to be able to request the services that are necessary for them in whatever roles they have. And it creates a complexity for a lot of customers because you want the service catalog to be limited to what your persona or personas allow. And one of the things that's always so exciting working with Halo is the way that the platform's designed. That's, you know, it is something that we've talked about before on other calls where you'll go, oh, well, doesn't everybody do that? And it's because of the care and design you guys have done with Halo, really being very customer driven, that flexibility is there. So talk to me, Tom, a little bit about, you know, some of the things you've seen within the universities in dealing with these unique challenges that universities face.
Yeah, it's a really interesting topic there, and you described it really well with the different roles that, different personas that people have. I was going to add one more in there as well, which is maybe pensions and people that, when you're actually looking at a local login, someone that's not necessarily within your domain anymore and no longer managed by the universities. There's lots of different kind of personas that universities is quite unique to them, which you don't always see in other kind of IT departments. So yeah, in terms of how we handle it, we do like to push the self-service. We think it's a really important vehicle for kind of managing the service of that we offer. And in terms of that, we always we always use a central source of data. So it'd normally be for the users, that is, so it'd normally be your identity management platform, something like AD, Azure AD, possibly a homegrown system as well. And we like to pull traits from there. So we're not kind of managing it separately in Halo. We're always using what you've already got. So it might be an OU, it might be a group, an Azure AD group or something like that you do use to manage those different personas. And all we're doing is when we are kind of importing or syncing those users from the different platforms, we're going to bring across those traits. Then we're going to use those traits to then control the access on the self-service or control the access if you are logging on behalf of the user. So it's very much driven from things you've already got. We're not going crazy here. It's something that that's why, I think maybe Mike's referencing back, we like to think everyone does these kind of things. It's something that's feels quite simple for us, that you just pull those traits across and then you use those traits to control the access.
Right. Well, you're able to manage the service catalog as a complete service catalog, and then define what elements in the service catalogs are available to which roles, personas, whatever word you want to apply to it. I hadn't thought about the what I sometimes see it as alumni, right?
Yeah,
So somebody that has been a student there at some point and may still be eligible for certain services from the university, and that creates a whole nother layer of complexity because generally their available services within a service catalog are much more limited
incredibly
than
limited normally. Yeah,
right. But being able to manage that in a single service catalog, in a single frame structure, and literally tick off which ones are available to whom, makes it very, very easy to manage, right? And that's really, when you get down to it, in so many of our conversations, that's the core essence of what you've designed and what Halo continues to do when you look at the new release that's coming out, and everything else you guys have done is just really that customer focus. How do we make it easy for our end customers to be able to interact with us? Because everything starts in a good design with the self-service portal,
I'd say so. Yeah,
but also making it easy for your technicians who are possibly taking a call to be able to understand that Mike, who's calling in, is an alumnus,
hmm
not a faculty, a faculty or staff member, or
absolutely.
and as a result, what am I able to avail myself of from a solutions and services that are offered by the university. So it all starts with kind of what we talk about so often with Halo as the starting point for everything, which is that customer experience.
Absolutely. And I
Yeah,
just to add to that as well, it's not every university is the same. They all kind of have a similar foundation, similar basis, but there's always different intricacies behind each one. So it might be that maybe one multiple campuses or slightly different structure to how the internal workings of the university work, and that's why we kind of have we like to recommend an out-of-the-box setup. We like to say these are best practice processes, but we do also make it configurable, so you can then take those best practices and add certain restrictions. So maybe this campus can request this additional service, or these types of user can request that. So we're kind of very much taking an out-of-the-box approach, but tailoring it towards a different university or whatever higher education institute it is.
Well, Tom, as always, these conversations are fun and I hope educational for folks that are out there. We look forward to being able to share Halo with those of you out there that are watching. Feel free to hit the Excalibur Data Systems website and sign up for a free trial for HaloITSM, fully functional, and you can get your feet wet. And then Tom and I would love to talk to you about what we can do for you leveraging the HaloITSM platform. Tom, as always, thanks for joining me.
Brilliant. Thanks, Mike.